Mariners bringing back yet another familiar face who played here from 2021 to the beginning of 2022. It's Nick Jermain, forward. Nick, it's great to see you again. How are you doing?
Doing well. Great to be back. Great to see you again. I know my parents will be pumped to hear you on the call again, watching from home. So excited to be back in Maine.
I appreciate that. And question number one is what drew you back to Maine?
I've now at this point been with so many teams and so many different countries that I have a lot better idea of what it makes a great organization. And I wish it didn't take me such a long route to figure out how good it was in Maine. But again, I really liked my time in Maine, the organization. Obviously, the staff is still there with Wally, who I had for both my seasons there. One as assistant, one as a head. And he's obviously a great coach. More importantly, a great person. So it was a pretty easy decision to come back and then away from hockey. Just being in Maine, being in Portland areas, it's hard to beat.
Yeah, you said it. You've been very well traveled since leaving college. I mean, you've played in five different countries, three of them in Europe, UK, Slovakia, France, and then you add the US and Canada on. Lots of stamps on that passport. What's it been like playing in so many places in just a couple of years?
It's been awesome. I think you get some different experiences with hockey and culture, food, travel, which I've always kind of been a fan of. Obviously the language is a little tricky, especially in Slovakia. Um, but last year in France and up in Quebec, I had a base level of French that I got to test out here and there. So it wasn't as bad, but no, just kind of being all over the world and traveling. Like you obviously travel a lot in the ECHL within the division and a few other places, but to get over to Europe was really cool. And now at this stage, like I feel like I've been where I need to be or where I want to be. That I'm excited to kind of get back to Portland and settle down a little bit.
Well, the last time you were in a Mariners uniform, you got off to a red hot start the beginning of the 22-23 season. You scored the overtime winner on opening night in Troyes, ironically, and then you scored something like 5 goals in your first 6 games. What do you remember from that span of time that was working so well for you?
I do remember that. That was probably my best stint as a pro, and sadly, it only lasted 6 or 7 games. So I just remember everything was feeling good. I was in a good flow state, and I obviously got a few bounces here and there, and then I think the next 20 something games after, I don't even think I got a point. So I hope to get off to the same start this year and hopefully not have the drop off and kind of have some more consistency with the numbers and kind of keep scoring and contributing throughout the season.
Yeah, I was actually looking at your game log before we jumped on, and your last goal as a Mariner was the empty netter a minute before Francois Brassard scored his empty netter in
Oh
Glens.
yeah, I
So
remember that.
talk
That was
about a
wild.
game that goes down in Mariners history, right?
Yeah, exactly. I remember that perfectly. That was hilarious. I thought you rarely get two empty netters in a game, and then one of them be a goalie. It was awesome.
How would you say your game has evolved since Mariners fans saw you last?
I think just it's funny with in college or 4 years, you kind of get bigger, stronger, faster, and you have these younger kids coming in, so it almost gets a little easier, a little bit slower. But with pro, like every year the kids coming in are better and better, and the guys who still get contracts, obviously they get them for they don't just hand out contracts. Like you got to be good, you got to keep getting better. So I've always been kind of in the mindset if you're not getting better, it's probably over for you. So I do think I've evolved my game a little bit. You kind of just get a little bit, more smarts, more experience, and I think in all my other teams and travels, I've gotten some more experience in some different situations on the power play, PK. I played center last year, so I've added a little bit more tools to kind of help my game. And then, like we just talked about, the consistency factor is definitely something that I've worked on and tried to add, that hopefully I can continue through a full season with the Mariners.
Yeah, when you're jumping from, a league over in the UK back to the ECHL and then a league over in France, do you notice anything change as far as the way you have to approach the game, or is it kind of just hockey no matter what?
Yeah, I think the one thing I will say that I've learned from playing all these other leagues is how good of a league the ECHL is, especially when you're playing with or against teams that have a bunch of guys down on AHL and NHL contracts. Like the skill level of the league, especially from the first year that I came to now, is just, it's crazy how good it is. But going from league to league, I think there are some subtle differences. There's obviously bigger ice over in Europe, so you have a little bit more room to maneuver and kind of use your speed and all of that. But the one thing I do love about the ECHL is there's better parity than there was in some of the European leagues I was in. Like, you go into every game, wanting and trying to win, and you think you have a shot in every game. Some of these European leagues, the budget and the players are just so different from the top end to the bottom end within each league that some nights you get a little lopsided games. But for the most part, every game in the ECHL is winnable, especially you play so many games against your division rivals that you really all the tendencies of each player in the team. So it makes for a great product. And there's just some things that like the bus rides, the food, the pregame routine, and kind of, I think you and the media and the league, they put like a good package together for kind of prepping for each game and seeing the other team. So I'm excited to get back that and have, it's a bit more of a consistent product for sure.
And the last thing for you, what excites you most? What are you most looking forward to for the 24-25 season?
I mean, I think I'm most excited to be in Maine, to be back in the Cross Insurance Arena. Like, I think I scored there last year with Twa.
You did, yes.
So I think I feel good in that rink. I feel comfortable with the organization. Obviously, you're there still. Wally's still there. Queener's still there, and Sean working the rink is still there. So there's a lot of familiar faces within the organization and the staff that I'm excited and I feel comfortable going into, which hopefully should translate to some good performances throughout the year, help the team win. Obviously going to every year wanting to win the division, make playoffs, and go as far as you can. And I think I don't know what the team and other teams look like, so it's too early to really gauge how we're going to do. But as of now, obviously you want to go as far as you can and win as much as you can. So that's the goal. And again, just really excited to be back outside of hockey. Just like I said earlier, Maine is awesome. I've been all over, the US and Europe, and haven't found places that much better than Maine. So it's pretty cool to be back.
Well, I think we could use this whole interview as a recruiting video. You said so many amazing things. But I know the fans will be excited to see you back. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you again. And, October will be here before we know it. So thanks again for a couple minutes, Nick, and enjoy the rest of your summer.
Thanks, Gills. Thanks for having me. I'll see you soon.